All right, back here again at Advancing Prefab 2025. I'm here with Andy Tolbert from Echelon Data Centres, and got to connect earlier with Andy yesterday. Actually, I was moderating our presentation session, I guess, and continuing to dive in here at Advancing Prefab, and very happy to meet Andy. Thanks for being with us.
Appreciate you.
If you want to do a quick intro, anything you'd like to say?
Yeah, same thing. Andy Tolbert. Nice microphone. All right. Echelon Data Centres. I'm the Senior VP of Engineering for Echelon. We are based out of Ireland and have operations throughout Europe, also bringing data centers into the U.S. So in that process now, which is part of me joining that team and helping expand our capacity across the globe.
Cool. Right on. So we've gotten a few deep conversations, love of data centers and how things are changing, and then how an event like this is helping us learn new techniques, share existing techniques, and so I think it'd be really cool. We were talking about some of the power requirements and some of the different power strategies, and it's fascinating learning a little bit how you guys are doing things. There's some different things going on in Ireland and maybe what we're seeing here in the U.S. and around different power generation, on-site, offshore, and I think that'd be really cool, man. Is there you cool sharing maybe some of the kind of key differences and things that you're experiencing in different markets?
Yeah, we talked about that. So we've known in the U.S. that we have power issues for quite some time now. We've looked at it in different ways, but you have central areas like Virginia that were first to market, and they led the data center world in having that densification within that area. And they started seeing issues. They started running out of power. They said, all right, we got to lower our capacity for new data centers. And you start seeing now, where can we go next, right? They move into the Southeast. They moved a lot into Ohio. You have now into Indiana, different places like that. Even there, we're already seeing struggles. And, it's Atlanta's really new to the market, but they jumped up quickly, and you're looking at an issue where you're running out of power. And Georgia Power is planning on building more facilities, but it's going to take 10, 15, 20 years to get these in operation. Ireland has had a constraint. It's an island, right? So you're limited in resources, you're limited in power. So they've had to adopt doing generation on site, and that's happened for some time now. So when you put in to get a permit to build a data center, part of that permit application is what you're going to produce on site as far as power goes, right? And so we have a site now that it's under construction, and we have a 200 megawatt natural gas turbine power generation facility on site, and that's going to work in unison with local utility, right? And so looking at that and the capacity needs of the campus itself, what we can do internally on the campus, what we can bring in from external sources with utility is helping us power that site. We're growing into other sites around Ireland as well, and looking at other options with offshore wind coming in to help that, also doing additional on-site power generation. Now that we're in a situation in the States and it's being pushed harder than ever, that we actually have an executive order signed saying that we're going to push this through a little bit easier to get power generated on these data center campuses to help support their growth. Now we're starting to see that movement in the U.S. We're starting to see companies adopt that and make announcements and say, hey, we're going to get on board. We're going to do this. We've announced this publicly. And so we're going to, take the knowledge and experience we have from there and help bring that here and help us kind of move that needle forward.
So that's great, man. We definitely need the help. And yeah, even seeing some of those, some of the micro nuclear reactors, some of the hyperscalers that sign contracts, I think they're, it's a 10-year out, 10-year out to get 500 megawatts or whatever they can get, but it's not a short-term solution that they're working on. They're working on what's the next 10, 20, 30 years, going to look like for us. So be interesting to see, what we can learn from around the world.
Yeah, we don't know what the next full solution is, right? But everyone's looking and everyone's putting money into trying something else to see how that works. So there's several stages that everyone has to go through to get to that final of we're going to actually implement this at a site. But I think it's going to be pretty fascinating to look at where we are now, where we're in 5 years from now, and in 10 years again, it's going to be a completely different look.
Yeah. Well, so with you being on the Senior VP of Engineering side of the business, we were talking earlier about how fast the technology is advancing that we can leverage for different data center builds. And spent enough time at data center conferences and hearing from some of the hyperscalers and some of the engineering groups on how challenging it is to design a project and having a few year construction schedule, and then having additional technology that's changing, whether it's compute power or whether it's the way we can cool that system. And so I think it'd be great, man, to just hear some of how that's been for you and how you manage and adapt to the ever evolving capabilities.
Since we started coming to Advancing Prefabrication years ago, we would come in as data center builders and look at what healthcare is doing, look at what hospitality is doing. At the time, they were really the ones kind of taking that step. And they were doing it through doing things like bathroom pods, head walls, different things like that, right? But they were still doing off-site construction and showing the metrics and how that was making their life better, the construction projects built faster, and at the time conserving money as well. And everything that we used was so big, and you didn't have everyone on board, and you were trying to take 2D drawings and pull those into the fabricated world and trying to figure out how best can I do that. And people started doing in wall, right? And receptacles in the wall with whips. That was easy. That was low hanging fruit. Hey, I'm doing something. It wasn't until we as an industry really adopted using VDC, using BIM to come in and fully design an integrated model that's shared and controlled by one entity. Everyone has their input into it, and you're doing a fully coordinated model to know exactly where your components are going. Now I know what I'm using, I know what those links are, I know how it's going to go into the building, and now I can break that into smaller pieces, right? I can have installation drawings that say I'm going to take this component down, and I'm going to take this one thing that's made up of 1,000 different pieces. I'm now going to have one product, right? Instead of a project build situation where I'm doing everything traditional and stick built, I'm now making products.
Yeah.
I'm breaking down through a model that has been adopted by the project that's really allowed us to do that. But the owner had to adopt it, because what it meant is we need money faster, right? You need to get the money out there. You need to get that in the hands of the contractor so they can hire the firms to come in and do the modeling. You can go ahead and buy parts and pieces faster because you're building it off-site. You're not waiting until the building's constructed and then buying it. You're building it off-site. So a lot of things had to change. Contract models had to change. Financing had to change. Mindsets had to change. But now we've seen that needle move. Now with AI, machine learning, now you're seeing densification grow, and the demand is through the roof, right? We don't have enough people, we don't have enough resources, so we still have to be creative. We still need to make sure that we're doing the best that we can, modeling these projects, designing these projects, using the best products that we can to build them faster and increase quality and lower costs at the same time. Yeah. So it's a nice challenge to have, but we're not alone, right? We're all in this together. Yeah. We're all working together to figure this out, which in a conference like this is really pulling the right people together, having the right conversation, sharing knowledge, sharing information, learning best practices, and then taking those home, implementing those to improve what we're already doing.
Yeah, sure, man. Yeah, I know you spent quite a few years on the electrical contracting side. Quite an extensive experience there, man. And it's just seeing how fast things have changed. We started first in electrical, working for electrical contractors, since I was managing electrical work before that. And going back 8-9 years ago, we didn't talk as much about like spooling overhead electrical racks. It was not as common. And I think you hit on a big point that you can only prefab so much without that model environment, because you got to have the confidence that when you come to put it in to the job site, that it's going to fit and it's going to work. And without seeing that virtually, it's very difficult to have more confidence than an in-wall with some whips, Absolutely. So it's been really cool to see that, seeing some of the hardware that's coming out now for electrical. And mechanical got in quite early, kind of getting that model to fab, and now electrical is getting the love, and it's really amazing to see how quick the last 5 years have really changed in that mindset.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, that's a lot of what we have at Echelon are people that are coming together from different parts of the industry and different parts of the world, right? And so we're able to bring that information together. I heard a gentleman the other day say, he'd been in this industry for 32 years, but every year was different. he hasn't been in this industry for 32 years and has done the same thing every year. He's always changed. He's always been growing, right? And so when you're in a situation where you can bring together multiple people from multiple areas with multiple levels of knowledge in different areas, you can really have the recipe to bring in something new, bring in new ideas, right? Really diversify the people within your company, all walks of life, and have that mindset come together to look at things not as they have been, but as they're going to be.
Well, kind of bringing it back here to Advancing Prefab, is any did you attend any sessions? You got any key notes and takeaways back, or anything that really stuck with you at this conference? Something new or something that you thought about differently that you'd like to share?
Yeah, like I say, there's been a lot of great ideas, a lot of information shared, and it's been on all levels. It has been through the partnerships, and a lot of that has been the common theme is not companies trying to accomplish something, but companies partnering together to accomplish an overall end goal that really is the same. So it doesn't matter as an owner who you are, which company you're with. It doesn't matter as contractors who you're with. It really is. We all have the same goal. We all have the same vision. We really have to come together. We have to partner together to kind of break through all of our challenges to get to that better end solution. I think that's been a common theme in a lot of the meetings that I've been in, is really unification, partnerships, working together to solve the problems and come out with a better solution at the end of the day.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, I think the opening session kicked that off, well, starting with discussion about partnering. And it was really cool to hear about how Schneider and Compass Data Centers and the other partners up there are trying to tackle problems together and find a way that everyone can win and support the market and the global community. So, well, thank you so much, Andy. I really appreciate your time.
All right, thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me sit down and share this lovely microphone with you. Appreciate that. A little mini mic. Yeah, fantastic.
Cool. Thanks so much.
Thanks a lot.